Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. I'm Tisa Blackburn and I'm your Acrylic Diva. We're going to look at fun gifts for artists on your holiday gift list. I've got some cool things to be looking at. We're going to look at both digital stuff and traditional art supplies that you can get for that person on your gift list, and it might be you. So why should somebody else get all the fun stuff, right? You're going to get some good stuff for yourself too, right? Yeah, okay. So I'm streaming to multiple platforms today. We're on YouTube and Facebook and Amazon Live. If you are over on Facebook or YouTube, just look at that scroll that's right below me, scrolling along there. I think it's scrolling along, isn't it? Yeah, there it comes. Look at that scroll, and you will, if you visit that page, you'll get the link to the Amazon Live page where you can join us on the Amazon Live page. And if you want to shop at the same time, that's super cool. If you don't, that's also cool. But yeah, that's the scoop. So we're out there, we're broadening our reach a little bit. Today I am going to start off with digital art making. We're going to look at the iPad, and we're going to look at Procreate and a couple of covers and things like that you can protect your device with. It's a really good idea if you're going to spend this kind of money on a device. It's a good idea to protect it. So I'm going to go over a couple of those things for you. And then we'll jump into doing some traditional stuff, some traditional art supplies. And if we have time, I might even do a little watercolor landscape. You never know. You never know what I'm going to... Maybe I'll do something in Procreate on the iPad. You guys just let me know in the chat box what you want to see, and I will do my best to cover it. First thing up in your carousel, if you're on the Amazon Live page with me, you're going to see that I've highlighted the 2021 Apple iPad Pro, the 12.9 inch, and that's the one I'm going to just do a look at with you. Let's actually go to that screen. Let me open it up for you. Open iPad, open. Is it open? Yes. Hello iPad, welcome. So we have the I have the iPad here. It has to look at my face so I can open it. Hello, it's me. You have to tell the iPad, you know, you gotta boss it around a little bit. So when you're looking at the iPad first time out, you know, you may be thinking, where is my home button? And you know, the new iPad Pro doesn't have a home button. As a matter of fact, the last iPad Pro, I didn't have a home button either, so I kind of had to get used to that. But basically, you're going to be moving around with gestures and things like that. So just kind of pay attention to those gestures. You can move stuff around, obviously. Just look at that little window in the lower right there. You know, I'm just gonna move around. Pretty intuitive stuff. The control center on your iPad is up here in the corner. I always do that. I always pull down the search engine instead. Control center is in the upper right, and that's going to give you some tools that you use a lot. You know, your camera's there, your AirDrop, Bluetooth, all that stuff is there for you. You can run your home, your smart home, from the control panel, and you can even use the remote control, you know, on the iPad as the remote control for your TV. So I don't know about you guys, but when you're trying to like put the search thing in your TV with the remote control, and you're just having to tap, you know, E and then B, and then it's so frustrating. So you can do it right on the iPad, use the keyboard, which is so much easier, right? So when you're searching for really long, you know, Pride and Prejudice, you got to type all of those letters out. It's really hard. Just use the iPad. Okay, so that is your control panel. And then your search, which I just inadvertently pulled down, your search is actually pull it down from the center and you get a search bar there, and that will give you search not only on the iPad, but it'll search Safari at the same time. So if I search right now for Santa hats, Santana came up, Santa hats. So you can see that the search brings up not only all of this stuff, well, I have it in Chrome because it's my default browser, but it also brings up suggested websites, maps, apps that I have. Apparently I have an app called Santa Hats. Who knew? So there you go. You've got all kinds of stuff. With that one search, you can search not only your iPad, but the internet and pretty much anything, you know. So there you go. And of course you can tell I'm not going to say her name out loud, S-I-R-I. You know who she is. She lives in the iPad and she's always talking to me, and I don't want to say her name out loud because if I do, she'll get activated and it'll mess up the live stream. But the voice assistant, you guys know her by name, the voice assistant for all the Apple stuff. And she's constantly waking me up in the middle of the night. I must talk in my sleep because my device will wake me up and say, "What was that? I didn't hear that." And I'm like, I must be mumbling in my sleep because they start talking to me. Either that or I'm having some really good dreams. Who knows? Okay, so that's a little bit about just some basic gestures on the iPad. And then of course, when we get into looking at Procreate, that little black box at the bottom of the dock right there. Oh, before I do that, let me show you kind of some cool stuff you can do with the iPad Pro. You can have a couple of devices, a couple of apps open at the same time. So for instance, if I wanted to have Procreate open, there's my gallery in Procreate. And then if I just get this bar, my fingers, get the bar to come up, the dock, and then say I want to have music open at the same time, or Prime Video, or my photos, or something else. Let's do music. I'm going to grab music and pull it over here. And you can see now I've got two apps open at the same time. And if I want one app to be smaller or larger, the bar there in the middle, you can scroll that bar. And then of course you can just scroll one away and it'll go away. There you go. So that's the scoop on that. To make a folder, if you've got a bunch of apps and you want to keep them organized, then you can make a folder. So it looks like I've got, what have I got here? Let's put Google Earth and the New York Times crossword puzzle. Let's put that in a folder together. Okay, so I'm going to grab the New York Times. My fingers don't want to work. Grab the New York Times, put it on top of Google Earth. It opens up a folder. Drop that in there, tap the screen, tap it again, and the little X's will go away. When those little X's are there, you can tap on the X's and delete that app. And of course, if you paid for that app or downloaded it from the App Store, you can always reload it. You don't have to worry about that. However, some apps, if you delete them, your data gets deleted as well. So pay attention to that. If you're using an app, you know, and you're creating photos or videos or something inside that app and you delete the app, sometimes that data goes too. So pay attention to that, okay? Anyway, back to this folder. I just dropped the New York Times and Google Earth into the folder together, and it says games, and I don't want to call it games. I want to call it something else. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to grab my Apple Pencil, and I'm just going to cross out games and say cut. And you know, we'll just call this Tisa stuff. I don't know, we'll call it something, Tisa stuff. And so now it's called Tisa stuff. And I tap the screen again, tap it again, and now it's called Tisa stuff. Now I'm going to take those out of the folder because if I leave them there, I won't know where they are when I need them. So I'm going to tap that folder open. I'm going to grab the New York Times crossword puzzle, which by the way, I annoy my entire family with that because they're trying to watch television and I'm asking them for a 7-letter word for pachyderm or something. So I love the New York Times crossword puzzle, but oh my God, it's hard. Go back into Tisa stuff, take Google, whoops, what did I do with Google Earth? Google Earth, drag it back out here. Whoops, I thought I did that and I didn't. Hold it down, Get back out here. Come on. Now. There. Now I drug those back out and you see that the folder disappears. So you don't have the folder anymore. Just tap that and your little X's and the wiggles will go away. So you're good to go. Now, let's see about Procreate on the iPad. Now, the title of this live stream, what I'm going to be doing all month, I'm going to be doing gift guides for artists in your family, for you, for people that want to be an artist, maybe they aren't an artist yet, or they think they're not an artist yet, or they're creative, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm going to be doing those all month long so you can start to get ideas for what to give the person in your artist life, quote unquote, what to give them. Hi Evans family, how are you? Hello, hello. I'm at a new time. I'm going to be at 3 o'clock from now on. We're doing one big giant live stream instead of two. We're doing one from 3 to 5, 3 to 4:35. We may go 2 hours. We'll see. 90 minutes might be my max. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I got a lot of stuff to cover, so we'll see how long it takes me to cover everything. Right now, we're talking about this 2021 iPad Pro, and it is with the M1 chip. And you can see I've got mine overhead. Let's open up the overhead camera. Get all my cords out of the way. Yeah, this is the iPad Pro 2021 12.9 inch. Lots of good real estate there. You're going to love this baby. It is fast, fast, fast. You can multitask like mad with this. And also, you know, you can use Procreate and any kind of other art making software that you want, and then watch a little Netflix at the same time. I mean, come on, why not? You know? So you get Netflix going, you get a little window up there, you start drawing. Maybe you're drawing from Netflix. Maybe you're using the figures on the screen to draw from. That's really good practice, by the way. That'll really train your eye and hand and mind to work quickly. So that's a good thing. So this is the 12.9 inch, and I've got it highlighted in your carousel right now. And also you'll see that, you know what, let's take a look at the specification page on that. Let's go over to the Amazon page for that and take a quick peek at it. Because when you are looking at these iPads, you're going to want to pay attention to storage space, speed, size, Wi-Fi and cellular, whether you get one or both, and I recommend you get both. The new Procreate 5.2 update is going to run really well on the 2021 12.9 inch iPad Pro with the M1 chip. They have also done some amazing things with accessibility. I'm gonna show you that here in a minute. But the other thing they've done is they've increased the size that you can create on the iPad Pro. So we've got a lot more size. And so when we are looking at Procreate on the iPad, let's just jump into Procreate so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to tap the black box with the X. It's going to open up to the gallery because that's where I was. That's where I was when I left off. And I'm currently working on a bunch of abstracts right now. But what I wanted to let you know is how big you can make these files. So if you look behind me, this canvas is 36 by 36 inches. You can now create images on the iPad Pro that are 16,000 by 8,000 pixels. And so that gets you up to a size. I've created images up to 27 by 27 inches at 300 dpi. This is 36, so 27 by 27 is only about 4.5 inches smaller on each side. So that is an enormous digital file. That is really big. So you've got plenty of room to work and do really big files. And then you can print them out, of course. Canvas prints, framed prints, You can print on everything now. Print on demand is huge, and I should do a whole live stream about that. But yeah, you can print on just about everything imaginable. So there you go. That gives you a really, really good overview on how big you can get with the Procreate on the iPad Pro. Now, it does require that you have the iPad Pro. If you're going to go big, it does require that you have the iPad Pro, and they say that you can do just about anything you want to do with 32 gigabytes. That seems really small to me because I have a 2 terabytes on here. But honestly, I got to tell you, do I have 2 terabytes? No, maybe I only have 1 terabyte. The reason is because, first of all, when you start to get hundreds and hundreds of paintings on your iPad, you just send them to the cloud. You don't have to use up all the storage on your iPad to create art. You just send it to the cloud. And literally I have got, oh boy, how many paintings have I got on here? 300, 400, 500 maybe. And I haven't even hit the halfway mark on this 1 terabyte. So you've got a lot of space, okay? All right, so that's a little bit about the space. Take a look at this page here on the specifications. Amazon is giving you the option to make payment plans, to make a payment over 12 months with 0 interest. Hello? I mean, how great is that? You know, that's a no-brainer. So, you know, if you're going to get the iPad, if you're thinking about Christmas or the holidays and you're thinking about, you know, I'm going to do it, I'm going to pull the trigger on this, I'm going to get an iPad, get the biggest one you can get the most memory you can get, and get Wi-Fi and cellular. And then go ahead and do the payment plan, right? So let's look at what specifications. Let's say we go Wi-Fi and cellular, and we're going to go 1 terabyte. 1 terabyte is plenty. Actually, 256 gigabytes is plenty, but let's go 1 terabyte, just for the heck of it. 1 terabyte, okay? So that gets you at right about $2,000. That's today's price. Now, the reason I say that is today is because this is a live stream, and you could be watching this 2 weeks from now, and it could be a completely different price, okay? So just bear that in mind. There's your specifications. Comes in space gray or silver, and with Wi-Fi and cellular. And so that's the score there on that, okay? All right, now let's move on to the Apple Pencil, which I'm gonna bend your ear about this Apple Pencil for a minute. And for some reason, okay, let's see, did we, all right, let's just see if maybe I lost the stream. Things are looking weird over here. Let's see if we lost the stream or not. And still looks like we're live over here. Okay. Are we in fact, did I lose you guys? I don't see my, I don't see the live stream at all. Sorry guys, hang on. Let me see if, we're having trouble with broadband, I guess. Let me just, I can't spell today. Okay, let's see if I can get this. There we go. All right, looks like we're still here. That is so bizarre. Every once in a while, you know, these things happen, and I'm just, you know, I'm just over here trying to do all the IT and everything all at the same time. All right, enough about that. Let's go on to the Apple Pencil, because that's what I want to talk to you about, the Apple Pencil. And one of the things that I think is pretty crucial when it comes to the Apple Pencil is, you know, get the right tool for the right job. In other words, I know there are other whatever. There's other ones out there that are cheaper. But Evan's family has heard this a million times. And those of you that have been in the live stream with me have heard this a million times. However, you know, it's just not going to do the job. If it's not the Apple Pencil, honestly, you guys are just shooting yourself in the foot. You're not going to be able to do the kind of artwork you really want to do. So let me show you what I mean, okay? I'm going to, let's go to the iPad like that. I'm going to open Procreate. Well, we're in Procreate. We just open Procreate by tapping on that little black box with a brush. And then I'm going to open a canvas, a new canvas. We'll just tap that plus sign at the top, and that gives you your canvas panel. And you can create an entirely new canvas, or you can use one of the default canvases that's inside Procreate. We're just going to use one that I've made. Let's use a square 12 by 12. Now when that opens, you've got the ability to pinch that, and these gestures are going to be really intuitive. It's just going to feel like old home week, you know. Pinch it, turn it, twist it, do whatever. And my advice is, when you're working on the iPad, turn the software, turn the artwork, not the iPad. Just leave the iPad stationary, and you don't need to move it around. Just turn the artwork, okay? Now, once you do that, the other couple of gestures I'm going to show you that you're going to use over and over and over again. You're going to use undo and redo all the time. So I'm going to go to my brush. I don't know what brush I've got. We'll just do that. And I'm going to mark like that. And I'm going to say, oh, you know what? I don't like that. So I'm going to tap with 2 fingers, undo. And oh, you know what? I changed my mind. I do like that. Tap with 3 fingers and redo. Okay? Undo and then redo. Got it? Okay. And then if you want to clear the layer, scrub with 3 fingers. Like that. My fingers aren't working. Scrub with 3 fingers, okay? Those are basic gestures. And then of course pinching, turning, and that kind of thing. Just very intuitive, right? Now, let's go to my pencil, my brush. Your brush is up here in the right. It looks like a little brush, and it's blue. That means it's active. Tap that. I'm going to go over here to sketching, right there. And I'm going to grab 6B pencil. That's my favorite pencil. And you know, I just want to tell you a little something here. I have been a professional artist for, you know, a really long time, okay? This is real. I earned this, right? So, you know, 30, 40 years, keep counting, you know. I've been doing this for a while, people. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that I know what pencil on paper feels like. I know what pencil on paper should do. I've stood in front of many figures and drawn figure workshops and stuff like that. So, and I'm not tooting my own horn here. What I am saying is that the experience of that translates into the iPad and the Apple Pencil. And you would think that there would be some disconnect between the analog world that I lived so long in and this digital world that I've been in for 10, 15 years, right? No. The Apple Pencil on the iPad in Procreate will blow your mind. It will just blow your mind what it can do. Look what I'm going to do here, okay? This is what I'm going to do. I've got my 6B pencil. I'm going to go and get like a dark black, you know, so it'll look like a charcoal pencil. And let's do a figure. We'll just, you know, let's make it a little bit bigger than that. Let's go a little bit bigger. So let's just say we're going to do a figure, okay? Right, like so. Okay, so we're just starting a figure. Now I'm going to come back in, and maybe I want to give this figure some hair, or give some mass to some shading or something like that. So I show this every time, and I think it's important. I don't know, it's important to me. So when I'm drawing at a table, I draw with what's called a pencil grip. And so let me show you that. This is a pencil grip. See my fingers? I'm holding it like a pencil grip, okay? When you draw at an easel, in order to get a lot of a big arc of motion, in order to really get the side, like when you're drawing a big 18 by 24 or 24 by 36 sketch pad, and you can get that nice line down the side of the torso or something, you use what's called an easel grip. This is an easel grip. You hold your pencil like this, right? Gives you lots of range of motion. You get lots of big range of motion, okay? Okay, pencil grip, easel grip. What's the big deal, right? Let me show you. Here's the big deal. Pencil grip, when I'm working like this, and you can see in that small window that I'm holding pencil grip when I'm drawing like this, right? But look what happens when I turn on the side and I use easel grip. Look at this. The pencil draws on its side, y'all. I mean, think about that now. It draws on the side. It draws on its side. That is a breakthrough. I mean, for me as an artist, that's huge. That's huge. And you're not going to get that with some other stylus that's not geared for the Apple iPad like this one is, okay? I'm just saying. And what are you going to save? You're going to save 40 bucks or something getting a, $40 stylus that's not an Apple Pencil? I don't know. You guys give me some feedback on that. If you have other ideas about that, let me know. Do you have another stylus out there that just blows everything out of the water? Can it do this? Can it draw on its side? I've still yet to see it, okay? So I'm just saying, that's as a professional artist, this really gives me the kind of, accessibility and responsiveness and stuff that I need. I mean, so here's the deal. You get your iPad and you get a inexpensive stylus, not an Apple Pencil or something. And so it's sort of like, I said this the other day and somebody cracked up. It's sort of like having a Maserati and pulling it by a horse, with a horse, right? So you get this great iPad and it does all this cool stuff and you're like sitting in the driveway with a $20 stylus. Okay, all right. Talk amongst yourselves about that because I have strong opinions about it, as you can tell. All right, here's the Apple Pencil second generation. Now, one thing I will say, when you are purchasing your iPad and your Apple Pencil, make sure you get the correct compatibility. On the Amazon page, it will tell you, let's go back to it. It will tell you, whoops, that's not the Amazon page, that's the iPad. I wanted to do the pencil. Let's go to the pencil. So if you're getting the second generation pencil, it's going to tell you the compatibility right here. It'll tell you that, okay? If you're getting the first generation pencil, which I've got in the carousel as well, if you have an older iPad, you may need that first generation pencil. And why does this keep turning itself off? Oh, because I forgot to tell it not to. That's why. I was blaming the phone and it was actually me. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah. Okay, we were going to talk about the first generation pencil. And the compatibility there, the same thing on the Amazon product page, it's going to tell you the compatibility. So we're looking at first generation, right? No, second generation, sorry. And let's look at the first generation. Yeah. Let's look at the first generation. And the compatibility, again, it's going to be right there on the page. So make sure you pay attention to that, okay? Okay, next up, next up. I want to put one of the refurbished iPad Pros in your carousel. That's highlighted now. And let's take a look at it because I want to introduce you to the Amazon Renewed program. If you haven't looked at this, or you haven't done a device through the Amazon Renewed program, refurbished program, it's a great way to get into an expensive device and spend a lot less money, and it's like brand new. So go to the Amazon Renewed page. You're going to see it right here. Scroll down. This particular iPad is renewed. It is a 12.9 inch, 256 gigabytes. That's plenty of space for you to do lots and lots of artwork. This one is Wi-Fi. It doesn't have cellular, but that's okay. And when you get to that, scroll down and look at the information about the renewed products. There's a 90-day refund or replacement guarantee from Amazon, and there's a couple of things going on here. First of all, you're keeping electronics out of the landfill, although why anyone would put a two-year-old iPad in the landfill is beyond me, but I guess it happens. You're getting a high-quality product. It's been renewed. It's like brand new. It's guaranteed. And you know, here's the other thing. You're getting it from somebody like me, because that's what I do with my devices. I send them back to be renewed, and there you go. So it's a good deal. It's a pretty good deal. It's not a pretty good deal. It's a great deal. What am I saying? So take a look at this particular one. What is this particular one? Okay, 12.9 inch, 256 gigabytes, 662. And you can get it for $55 a month for 12 months with no interest. So there you go. That, again, I'm going to say it again because it's important to remember that this is a live stream, so that price could be different tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, whatever, okay? Okay. Great. Good. Alrighty. Let's go back to the iPad screen. Let's get rid of her. I'm going to say her, but doesn't matter. I'll go back to the gallery, and you know what, let's just select that one. See, select up here, select that and delete. And remember, when you delete something, it's permanent, so it'll tell you right there, are you sure you want to delete this? It can't be undone. So yeah, we'll delete her. I'll go into some figure stuff. Let's see, I thought I did some figure stuff for all right, let's just do a new figure stuff. So we'll do a new figure, and let's go back to our 12 by 12. Where'd it go? 12 by 12. It was here a minute ago. Now I can't see it. 27 by 27. We don't need that big. Where did 12 by 12 go? Well, let's do 9 by 9. Close enough. So the other thing that you can do in Procreate that reminds me of my old days as being an illustrator, back in the old days, before we had computers. I'm serious. We had to draw everything, you guys. We had to draw everything. There was no iPad, there was no iPhone, there wasn't anything. So we had to draw everything. So we would do what were called layers, and guess what? That's what Procreate has, layers. So we would do things like we would do the drawing and then rough it out and then do another layer and finalize it. And so if I was going to do, say, a figure, have I got my pencil? Yeah. So if I was going to do a figure, you know, I would just start out with a rough drawing, just really rough, right? Just start out like that. Let's give her some hair, okay? And like that. That's it. That's my underdrawing. I'm just kind of spot checking everything. Evans, you were around before computers, really? I know, we were around before computers, right? We knew what the score was. Yeah, we had to draw everything. We had to learn to draw. Fancy that. So here's the thing. I do a layer like this and I'm like, okay, that's all right. If I was doing this back in the old days, I would be working on a sketch pad and I would go, oh, you know what? Her head's cocked to the side too much. I'm going to cut it out. I would cut it out of paper and then I would reposition it, tape it down, and then I'd put tracing paper over it and redraw it in the right proportion. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to cut it out, go to my transform tool. I'm going to cut this, pretending to cut it. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Let's make her there. Let's make her a little, there we go. She's a little more straight up now. Tap that transform tool. She's locked in. Make a new layer with tissue paper. Go to my layers. Tap plus. I'm going to make this one a little less opaque so I can see what I'm doing. Push down the opacity. Go back to my pencil. And I'm going to make my pencil a little lighter. And I'm going to come in here and, whoops, that's too big. I don't want it that big. Come in here and start to work on, you know, just getting the basics here, right? Just getting the basics, right? So you start to see how you can use these layers. And this is what people are doing that are doing characters for manga and anime and stuff like that. So now we're like, okay, that's all right. We'll do one more layer. Let's push this one way down. Now let's go to inking, and you would work on this and refine it. Let's see, we'll go to inking I lost inking, where'd it go? There it is. Inking, we'll go to technical pen, and we'll come in, that's too big. Tapping out of that, tap back, come down a little bit, and go like so. And you can start to refine this just like I used to do when I was an illustrator. Give her a little hair here, and so on. Just refine that a little bit. Okay, and so on. You just keep working there. And then of course, at some point, you're going to put color in. Let's drop out these two layers so we can see how it looks. Oops, go away. So you see how you just keep refining it using those layers. And let's give her a jacket of some sort here. And I really don't know what that's supposed to be, her neck, but let's get rid of it. Go to the eraser tool. We'll just get rid of that. I don't really know why it's there. Let's just erase that right there. And I see what I did was there we go. That's a little better. Okay, that's a little bit better. It's a little sloppy, but you get the idea. And so then of course you can start adding color. We go into another layer. And this, you know, the interesting thing about this, the really wonderful thing about this is the exact way that illustration's done. And you know, you have an inking layer, you have a color layer. You don't do everything on the same layer. And so it's intuitive that way, and it works really well. I want the color to be below everything, so I'm going to go to that layer, hold it, and pull it down. And actually, you know, I'm going to put it right below my inking layer because I don't really need these two layers anymore, so I'm going to slide to the left and delete, and slide to the left and delete. There. And now this layer is going to be my color layer, and so I'm going to go into my brushes, and I think I'll go to painting, and let's go to watercolor. And that'll give me kind of a nice translucent color. You'll be able to see through it. You know, it'll be kind of fun. So let's grab some color here. We'll go up here, kind of a sort of a flesh tone. And how big is our watercolor? Too big. Let's pull it down. That slider on the left-hand side is for your size. The top slider is for size. The bottom slider is for opacity. Okay? So we'll just block in some color here. Generic color. Right. Oops, a little too dark. Let's tap out of that. A little bit too dark. Let's go like that. Just generic color right now. And okay, that's okay. She's a little anemic, but that's all right. We can work on that later. We'll leave it for now. Now let's do another layer for her hair. I'm going to do one more layer for her hair, and we'll give her some, you know, Superman black hair. So let's go to our color up here, tap on that, double tap down here, that gives you 100% black. And I'm going to go to something more opaque. That's going to be gouache. And let's see how big. That's pretty good. Let's go like here. We're going to start here. We'll just block this in. This is not the final thing yet. We're just blocking in. Let's go a little bit smaller. Go right here like that. Okay, just blocking in her hair. Just, whoops, I went a little crazy there, didn't I? There we go. Okay, close enough. And you know, we'll refine that a little bit later. Oh, she's got a nice big 80s hair going on. Giant 80s hair. I had giant 80s hair. That kind of looks like my hairdo from the 80s. Oh my God. Okay, let's give her like a, you know, green jacket of some sort. So I'm going to go one more layer. And it's going to go above the layer I'm working on. Whenever you add a new layer, it'll go above the layer you're working on. Let's go and get, you know, lime green. And I'm going to leave it on gouache. We'll leave the brush set on gouache. I kind of liked it. Tap out of that. Let's be a little neater, Tisa. You don't have to be so sloppy, girlfriend. I was just getting kind of carried away. So see how that gouache is covering up the area there around her collar where we had the flesh tone? It's covering that up. We'll just make it a little bigger now. Okay. Okay, so we have a pretty sort of standard figure here with weird looking hair. Let's go into the hair. We're going to just do crazy stuff with her hair. You can go in and you can do the eyes and all of that stuff. You can spend lots of time, but I would recommend if you're going to do stuff like that, do layers. So if you're going to do facial features, go back to the inking layer, add a new layer, go in with your inking because you want it to be a little bit more discreet in size. Maybe technical pen or studio pen, something like that. And if you wanted to do, you know, eyes or something, then you're going to want to come in with your technical pen pretty small and do things with the eyes and whatnot. You know, God, we could give her some really spooky looking eyes. Just really crazy looking. Give her some really wild makeup too while we're at it. But, you know, that kind of thing, you can do a lot of detail with that. But I wanted to do some fun stuff with her hair, and I wanted to show you how to use some different kinds of brushes. She looks mad. Yeah, she does look kind of pissed, doesn't she? I don't know why my figures that I draw out of my head, they always look a little terse, you know? I don't know what that is. There's something going on there. So let's work on her hair. I'm going to go back to the brush, and I'm going to get a brush. This is a really strange brush, but I love this brush for hair. It's in inking, and it's called Thylacine. Let's go to, where's Thylacine? There's Thylacine. It's a really cool brush. It's like a multi-strand brush. And so I'm going to go back to, I've got Thylacine. I'm going to go back to color. I'm going to double tap on black, but I'm going to make my black over in the blue range. So it's not really black, it's got a little bit of blue in it, like a dark blue. So let's see if that thylacine does what I want it to do. Yeah, see how it kind of, you might have a hard time seeing that, but it does some really cool, like frothy things, you know? So you can do some crazy stuff with that thylacine brush and just play with it, you know? Then it's not just, oops, I kind of went crazy there. Then it's not just a big blob of black hair, you know? You can do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. I'm getting carried away. Now, if I'm looking at that and going, you know what, I really overdid the hair. We really need to dial it back, Tisa. So I'm going to go to the eraser, and now I'm going to erase with thylacine. So I'm going to go to eraser, inking. You can pick the eraser. You can have the eraser be the same type of brush that you paint with. So it's kind of fun to work with that. So if I go to eraser and inking and thylacine, let's see how that looks. See, you can kind of do some really let's make it opaque, fully opaque. Go back, start again. And you can do some crazy stuff by erasing as well. So let's erase a bunch. I'm just going to erase a bunch here, like this. Okay, look, really crazy hair, crazy looking hair. Okay, now I'm going to go back with my brush and thylacine and black, and let's see what it looks like. See, that's kind of cool. You can get some real volume and stuff there. You can do some really wild stuff. So I don't know if this is a hairdo that I would wear, but kind of look like my hair from the 80s, honestly. I had crazy hair in the 80s. Giant hair, huge hair. So there you go. There's some wild hair stuff going on. So the eraser can be just as important as the drawing, right? Okay, that's a little bit, just a smidge. That's a tip of the iceberg when it comes to Procreate. Let's look at what this looks like when we go to the video. Go to Actions, go to Video, and go Time Lapse. And there's the time lapse on that. There's the crazy hair. Crazy hair, all right? Super fun stuff. All right, that is a little bit about Procreate and the iPad Pro. I'll circle back to that. We'll do some more stuff in Procreate. I want to show you some abstracts and everything. We're going to, in the second hour coming up, we're coming up to 4 o'clock. In the second hour, we're going to talk about watercolor, and we will also circle back to Procreate. But right now, let's take a look at in your carousel. I'm going to have you look at, I'm scrolling over there, where'd it go? I'm going to have you look at the Golden Artist Colors Acrylic Dioxazine Purple. And I'm going to play a little video for you. Here you go. So this is the Golden Dioxazine Purple that's highlighted in your carousel. And you can see that, yeah, she looks mad, I know, Evans. You can see that when that dioxazine purple comes out of the tube, it looks really dark, almost black. It's got a very dark mass tone. When you scrape it down, though, you get that really brilliant undertone. And that is one of the highlights of these modern pigments. The dioxazine purple is a modern pigment. It also has a really high tinting strength. So you get that titanium white, and you put a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of that dioxazine purple into the titanium white, and it makes a very strong mixture. So what that means is that a little bit of this goes a very long way, and that is a good thing. It is a Series 7 color, and it is light fast excellent, which means it's going to stay strong and it's not going to fade. And it also holds a beautiful brush stroke. Do you see that brush stroke there? It's one of the things about the actual golden heavy body is that brush stroke will hold a brush stroke, and they're buttery, they're big and buttery, so that really gives you that texture, and it'll hold that texture. So the purple, the dioxazine purple that you were looking at, comes in the color mixing modern theory set. I'm going to highlight that in your carousel. Now this is a really good set. This would make a good gift for an artist, because you're going to save a lot of money. This artist that you get this for, whether that's yourself or someone else, could be somebody else, that is going to save you a lot of money in terms of if you were to buy these tubes individually. So let's take a look at this set. It's highlighted in your carousel right now. And the dioxazine purple that you just saw comes in the set. The first thing that you're going to see is the mixing guide, which is amazing. This is an amazing mixing guide. It's going to give you so much information about color mixing. There's all kinds of terminology here. The mixing guide itself, it's actually too big for me to put under the camera. It's really big. Check it out. Here I am. There's the mixing guide. Can you see the whole thing? It's big, you guys. And it is going to give you all of the different recipes for all the different colors that you need when you want to mix something. These 8 colors at the top here are your basic colors right there. They're the ones that are in your set. And then your color wheel here, and that shows you where each color lands on the color wheel. Then these are all the recipes for all the colors that you will want to mix from those 8 colors. That's all you need. You really don't need anything else. It's pretty amazing when you get down to it. So that is the color mixing guide. And you know, if you scroll back through some of my live streams, there are a couple of live streams that I've done the color mixing. I've done some color mixing using this set right here. So it's a pretty good set, and not only that, you're going to save money. If you buy these individually, you're going to pay a lot more for it. So let's take a look at what you've got here. You've got 2 yellows, benzimidazoline yellow light and yellow medium. This one shifts a little bit more to the warm side. This one's a little more red, okay? Then you've got naphthol red light and quinacridone magenta. Let me get out of there, you. Quinacridone magenta, you've got a warm red and a cool red. Very important, you all. Very important to have those 2 reds. Super important, okay? This naphthol red light, it really makes a good substitute for cadmium red, okay? The naphthol red light. And then you've got phthalo blue green shade and phthalo green blue shade, just to confuse you. But this covers all of that range that you need with a dark blue, and this green will get you everything you need in the green range, okay? I mean, if you take this phthalo green and the benzimidazoline yellow light, that's green gold right there. Boom. Okay? And then the dioxazine purple, which you just saw the video about that one, and then titanium white, which is your all-purpose opaque white. You can mix, you know, just about anything. I mean, I can't imagine that there's a color you need that you can't mix from this set. And the other thing is, you get all of this information, you get all the terminology you need, and if you want to understand how the recipes work, here's what you do. You look at this right here. This is a visual recipe. So for instance, to make dioxazine purple, or to make this, I think that's cobalt violet. What is it we're making right there? It's medium violet, or let's say permanent violet dark. You take this much of number 4 and you take that much of number 5. There's number 4, there's number 5, and you have a visual reference. You also have it in a ratio. So for instance, this one is 10 to 1. You need 10 of color number 4 and you need 1 of color number 5. Now, I get this question all the time because I've been teaching with Golden for 20 years, and I get this question all the time, and people say, okay, how do I know 20 parts to 1 part or something? And so what I advise people to do is to use their palette knife as a measuring tool. So let's see, where's my little Italian knife that I like so much? Where are you, honey? There. Let me highlight these while I'm at it. These are the Italian palette knives that I love so much. Oh my God. These are so amazing. These are the RGM stainless steel Italian palette knives. And I got to tell you, once you start using these things, you're not ever going to use any other kind of palette knife because they're so wonderful. And you know, you can see the handles on these have paint on them, but they clean up really well, and I don't even have the overhead camera on. I thought I did. These are the Italian, the RGM palette knives. So when you're measuring stuff, let's measure some paint. Hang on, let me get a little paint and I'll show you what I mean. When you're measuring paint, and say you need 10 to 1, this is my mixing set here, which has got all kinds of stuff in it. Say, let's get titanium white. No, we're going to make something. We're going to take phthalo blue. What are we going to make? We're going to make violet. We're going to make that violet. What was that? It was medium violet, and it's, where is it? Okay, permanent violet dark. So we need quin magenta, which is square, quin magenta, and dioxazine purple. Okay, there. That's what we're going to do. We'll mix those up, and I'll show you how I measure. That'll make it easy. So, I need 10 to 1. So I'm just going to take my palette knife. Here's my palette knife. Take my paper, and I need 10 of quinacridone magenta and 1 of dioxazine purple. So here is, okay, I'm going to call that 10, right? And then I'm going to call this 1. See? Now, is that exact? No, of course not. Of course it's not. But, you know, if you cook or eat food, then you know every once in a while, you know, you put a little bit of salt down, it's a little bit too much, or you put a little bit of pepper, you need a little more, something like that. What you do is you start like this, and then you mix it and see where you need to adjust. So if this is the color that you wanted, perfect, right? Now on the screen, you guys probably are having a hard time seeing that because it's a dark color. A dark color is harder for human beings to see because we just have a hard time seeing dark colors. That's just all there is to it. So the next time you go get a sweater, a black sweater, and you're at Nordstrom's or Macy's or something, and you're trying to see if it's black or not, you can't tell. You go to the window or you put it under a light to see what color it really is. That's what we're doing when we add titanium white. We're lightening the color a little bit so we can see what it really looks like. So I'm going to put a little bit of titanium white. Well, my titanium white already has purple in it. Put a little bit of titanium white over here, mix that color with it, and so I can see what I'm getting. And that's pretty close, Tisa. That's pretty close, girlfriend. Let's see. How close did I get? Let's see. I've been doing this for a few years, you guys, so. Okay, so I was going for this right here. That's pretty dang close. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that's the scoop. And are you going to get it right every time? No, of course not. But keep mixing. That's going to teach you how to do it. And this mixing chart, this color mixing guide is going to be your best friend. Listen, if you spend a weekend with this baby right here and this Modern Theory mixing set, you just spend a weekend doing these exercises. Get yourself a stack of from the mixed media pad, you know, that's in the carousel. Just start doing color mixing and just mix up these colors. Spend the weekend doing that. And let me tell you, you will never make muddy color again. You won't throw paint away because you made the wrong color. You also won't do that thing where you're mixing color and you only need this much and you can mix it and it's not quite right. Okay, I'm gonna add a little more blue. Mix, mix, mix. Now you got this much. It's really still not right. I'm gonna add a little more red. Mix, mix, mix. Now you have this much. And guess what? The whole thing has to get thrown out because you didn't mix the right color. And so pay attention to that because you're wasting paint. It's frustrating, you're wasting time. And so do what I call discretionary color mixing, okay? Tiny increments, take notes, pay attention, and then look at the color wheel. Really understand where these colors land on the color wheel, okay? So, where's my color wheel? Where'd it go? I had it here. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So really start to understand the color wheel. So take a look at this. If I pull out this quinacridone magenta right here and tell you that that is my primary red, you're going to go, it's not even red, Tisa. No, of course it's not red. But that is the primary red that I use to mix everything that I need. And I know what that's going to do because it lands kind of right here on the color wheel, you know? It's not red, it's not purple. Let's come in a little bit so you can see that color wheel a little better. But it lands right here, and so I know when I'm mixing stuff with it that it's a red that has a little blue in it. I know that. So it's going to give me different mixtures than a red like, where's the Pyrrole red? Than a warm red. See, look at that. One's blue, one's yellow. And so you got to remember that when you're looking at color on the color wheel. So whenever you're mixing color and you get into trouble, just remember it's only going to be one of three things you need to add. It's either red, it needs more red, it needs more blue, or it needs more yellow. Those are the only three things you got, right? It's not that any harder than that, okay? And if you really want to get into color mixing, I don't think my book is in the carousel, is it? Did I put my book in the carousel? I don't think I did, but you can get it here on Amazon. Let me grab it. So this is my book, and I'm going to get the paint out of the way now that I've made a mess. This is my book. You can get it here on Amazon. And it has a whole chapter on color mixing in which I talk about this idea of discretionary color mixing. It's really important. And you can get a lot of mileage out of it, and you just don't want to throw paint away, right? Who wants to throw paint away because you mixed the wrong color? That's frustrating, and it's expensive, you know? Okay, so that is the color mixing guide, color mixing set. Let me highlight that again. Where'd it go? Is it highlighted? Did I highlight it? No, there it is. And then you saw the Italian painting knives that I'm so crazy about. I love those guys. They're wonderful. They wear really well too. They're very sturdy and they last a long time. My book isn't in the carousel, but you guys can get that here on Amazon. Okay, what's next on the hit parade? I talked to you about the dioxazine purple. Ooh, I have not talked to you about the interference of violet, which is so yummy. Let's look at that. I have a video for you about that, don't I? Let me see. Let me see what to do with it. There it is. Yeah, there's the interference violet. So that is a series 7 color, and it is delicious. I don't even know. I'm just going to tell you, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. You should use it. Look at what it does. When it comes out of the tube, it has this really, just like all the golden heavy body acrylics, it has that big buttery consistency, and it holds a brush stroke beautifully. But look at this now. When I paint it down over white, it doesn't do much, right? You just, you know, paint it down over white, you don't see a whole lot. But watch, look at that over black. The black, painting it over a dark color will cause it to flip in different colors. It's pretty amazing. And it will hold a really nice big juicy brush stroke. So there you go. That's the interference violet. That is highlighted in your carousel. And you can mix it, like I'm mixing it with green gold here. You can mix it with other colors, and then you get like a third color that's like mind-blowing. So you can mix it with green gold and then get a green gold that refracts the light back. It's pretty astonishing. So if you haven't tried those interference colors, I highly recommend it. They are really yummy and amazing color, right? So there you go. That's the interference violet. Next to that, we've got some paper. I want to talk to you about the Strathmore artist tiles. I really like these. They're great for Christmas presents. They are great for, you know, making little gifts, making little hostess gifts. They're wonderful for that kind of thing. And you can see I did a little watercolor landscape the other day here on it. The thing I like about these though is that they're only glued on one side. They're only glued on the top side. And so it's really easy to get that off. You just paint with it down on the block, and then you take it up, and then boom, it's ready to go into a frame. Super simple. That's the watercolor artist tiles, and it's more like a, it's not really rough, it's like a cold press. They're nice though, they're nice and thick. They're 140 pound, and they work beautifully. I mean, look at that, there's no buckle on the other side. They stay nice and flat when they're on the pad and you're working on them. They stay nice and flat. So there you go. That's the Strathmore artist tiles. And then the next one that's in your carousel is the Strathmore artist tiles that are the Bristol surface. These are great if you want to work with things like pen and ink. You know, this I put a little watercolor down here, but then I came back with some Pigma Micron, which I'll show you here in a minute. Did the Pigma Micron on these. Get some fine detail. Also, I used the Artistro paint pen here for a heavier line, and they take the detail really well because they have that Bristol surface. It's smoother, and again, it's this great size. You can just pop it right into a frame. Super simple. This is a wonderful little tablet, or the watercolor tiles, to give to someone, especially if you take a look at the Pigma Micron that I have, the Sakura Pigma Micron pens, these guys right here. And this is wonderful for things like Zentangle, you know, doodle art, things like that, where, you know, you don't have to be Michelangelo to enjoy creating. And if you have someone in your family that wants to just kind of indulge their creativity, then you know, one of these and a set of Pigment Micron and you're good to go. I mean, that is so simple. You don't have to have tons and tons of art supplies. You can have just a simple set of Pigment Micron and of the Pigment Micron pins and the artist tiles. And this, you know, you can put this in your purse and you can make art anywhere, right? While you're waiting at the doctor's office, while you're waiting for the kids from soccer, while you're, you know, riding the bus home from work or wherever. So I just think it's a wonderful way to work. You know, while you're watching Netflix, while everybody else is watching football, guess what you're going to be doing? You're going to be drawing on your artist tiles with your Pigment Micron pens. Yes, you are. So that's your artist tiles. I've got the Pigment Micron, the 8-pin set in black that is set up now in your carousel. But you know what? Let's take a look at the Amazon page, because the Pigment Micron come in a bunch of different flavors. So you can get the 8-pin set, the 10-pack set, the 72-pack set. You can go crazy. You can get them in colors. So let's go down here. See, you can get them in colors. They are pigment-based ink, so they resist fading. They're waterproof. Once they dry, they're waterproof. So you can see on this little one here, where did it go? This one, no, where did it go? This one. No, all right, I have a zillion of these. Okay, here it is, this one. This one, the watercolor went down after the pen. So I put the pen down, let it dry, and then watercolor on top of it. So you can watercolor under it, you can watercolor on top of it. They come in a bunch of different colors. They come in a bunch of different nibs. Really wonderful, wonderful pens. Look, there we are, right there on the Pigment Micron page. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about them. If you've been using other kinds of markers or pens that are dye-based, think about that, because they, you know, here's a little example about the difference between pigment and dye, you know. So pigment-based ink tends to last longer and be more fade resistant. So just think about that when you're working, and it doesn't cost any more, you know. So a Sharpie pen is going to fade. You know, the Sharpies are just, they go right away. But these guys are going to stay. And what fun is that? It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's pretty, you know, pretty easy if you take this 6x6 and you got 3 or 4 of these. I mean, there you are. There's your art studio right there. Okay? That's pretty easy. And also, if you want to have more fun, let's have more fun, then you can add in a little watercolor. Here's the Core Mini. Oh, I love this little Core Mini. Let me highlight it for you so you know what I'm talking about. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. This is the Core Half Pan Mini set. And man, I love this set. I do love this set. I talk about it all the time. I'm going to come in a little bit so you can see it a little better. Scooch in here. The Mini Half Pan set is from Golden. They make Core watercolor, and it's got this wonderful little pan that I love. So here is the set as it comes out of the box, and you've got the color chart that tells you all of the colors that you can get Core in. Now this is a beautiful, beautiful set on highly pigmented, very pigmented. Look, but for me, I'm just the functionality and the design. I love the design because you open it up and your palette is right here. Look at that. Your palette's just right there waiting for you. And then you have a little piece of watercolor paper. You can put your colors here, it gives you the same number here that you have in your half pan, so you can just put a little bit of color there so you can remember what colors you have. And then you've got your colors here, and these colors are very heavily pigmented, y'all. They are super yummy. I'll do some here for you in just a sec. I'll show you my set, which is not nearly this pretty. But that's the core set. You get 12 colors. Let me get it back in the box. Go back in the box. Doesn't want to go back in the box. You get 12 colors. Cad Primrose, Cad Yellow Primrose, Nickel Azo Gold, Transparent Pyrrole Orange, Pyrrole Red Medium, Quinacridone Magenta, which is my color. I think it should be called Tisa Magenta because that's my color. Dioxazine Purple, Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Sap Green, Transparent Brown Oxide, Burnt Umber, and Payne's Gray. Beautiful, beautiful colors that you can do a gazillion things with. Let's do some. Let's do some. Okay? All right. So you saw the pretty set. Here's my set. Ta-da! My messy set. Let me get a little water. Put a little water out. And we'll move the little plant. And we need paper, don't we? Yeah. Okay. So Strathmore Artist Tiles. Where's my Princeton brush? Oof! I love my Princeton brush. Have I talked to you guys about the Princeton brush yet? This one? The Princeton Yum 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 brush. That's not really the name, but that's what I call it. Where is it? I'm going to highlight it for you. There it is. Princeton Aqua Elite. This is a size 12. Gosh, this is a sweet brush, you guys. This is a sweet brush. And I'm kind of a brush nerd too, so, you know, I know my brushes. So let's do a little something, something, okay? I always do a little landscape, you know. I'm gonna do a little landscape. So I'm gonna go wet and wet here. Get a little water, like so. I'm gonna go purple. Ugh, look at that. Dioxazine purple. So pretty. Little dioxazine purple, little quin magenta. We'll do a sunset. And a little yellow, little Cad Yellow Primrose. Oh yeah. Look at those gorgeous colors. Aren't they beautiful? We love it. Okay, now let's see. I always do a desert landscape, so I guess I'll do a desert landscape. That's what I usually do. I'm going to start with some burnt umber. Whoops. We just have some mesas here. A little bit of mesa. Oh, look, it's giving me the trees that I need already. Because I'm going wet and wet, so it's going to fuzz out up there. That's fine. I was going to do a little something on top of the mesa there anyway. So it just took care of that for me. Okay, let's have a little green in the foreground. Little green stuff happening here. Little green something. Let's throw a little brown on that for good measure. There we go. Okay. All right, there's my there's my landscape. Now I can, the thing about this brush, see that point? Look at that point. I mean, it just boom comes right back to this very fine point. So this is still wet here, so if I go down, if I do anything into that, it's going to fuzz out probably. But let's see if I can do something dry. It's probably going to go fuzzy, but let's see. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's going a little fuzzy because it's still wet. Let's let it dry. We'll come back to that in a minute. And I'll do some more fine detail for you on that. But look at that. Look at that brush. That's a nice brush. We like that brush. Okay, speaking of watercolor, I also wanted to show you, I've got this big watercolor set here. Do I have the right one? This might not be the right one. Let's see if this is the right one. This is the, I think this is the 12 set that I have. Let me see. Yeah, this is the 12 set, and the one that I have to show you guys is the 24 set. So I don't have the 24 one in the carousel, but I am going to pull it up on the Amazon page for you. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on one second. There it is. Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you this 24 set. That's the one I have on hand. And let's look at that on Amazon. This 24 set, and as a matter of fact, you know what I'll do? I'll put the link to this in the chat box for you. But I'm going to put this little watercolor aside so it can dry for a minute. And we can look at the 24 set on the overhead. This is the Core 24. This is a beautiful set. Now, if you've got that artist in your family, and maybe it's you, and you really want to make brownie points with them, this is the set. This is the one. So this is the Core 24. And take a look at this beautiful set. Your palette's right here. And all of the tubes of color are here. And then, of course, your color chart is here as well with all the colors. I don't have any of these tubes open. This is a brand new set. And so this set, though, has a lot of color, 24 colors. It's a beautiful set. And of course it comes in that wonderful tin. I love these tins. They're so functional because really you've just got your palette is right there. You don't have to carry anything around. You have this and your watercolor pad and a brush and you're done. That's all you need. And then of course on the back you've got all the colors that are listed here and the information about those colors. So that is a beautiful set. The 12 set is what is in your carousel right now. It's the smaller version of this one. And I don't have the 12 set with me. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Never mind. Oh, actually, this is the 6 set. Let's see. Do we have the 6 set? Is the 6 set in there? Let's see. I think it might be. Let's take a look. Let us see. Yeah, this is the introductory 6 set. That is in your carousel right now. And that is what this one looks like. Same wonderful design. If my fingers would work. Same really wonderful design. You get that palette in the lid. And then you get 6 introductory colors. And those colors are the Hansa Yellow Light, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Ultramarine Blue, Pyrrole Red Light, Permanent Alizarin Crimson, and Burnt Sienna. So there you go. That's a really good mixing set. You can get a lot of colors out of that. And of course those are the, let's pull that tube out so you can see it. Those are the 5 mil tubes. And that goes a long way, let me tell you. That goes a very long way. And you can set your palette up right here and you're all set to go. Okay, that's the 6 introductory set. That's the one that's in your carousel right now. Okie doke. Let's take a look. Did our watercolor dry enough so that we could do something? Yeah, let's just do a little something. A little detail there, just a little bit of detail. A little drier. I'm using the Core watercolor. This is the half pan mini set. Half pan mini. There you go. That's highlighted right now. And I'll just do something, the little detail here, so you can see this brush. Isn't that great? Let's come in. I'll bring the camera in a little bit so you can see this detail a little better. There we go. This brush not only does this beautiful area of big color, and it holds a ton of water, but it also does this great detail work. It comes back to this amazing point, so you can do really nice detail, right? I'll do a little something up here. So there you go. That's the Princeton Aqua Elite 12-inch round. Beautiful brush. Now, the other thing that's really wonderful about this brush, it's animal friendly. It's not real Kolinsky. It's a synthetic hair, and it has no animal hair. So, couple of things going on there. It is actually more durable than a Kolinsky, and it costs about 1/10 the price. So not a bad deal, and I honestly can't tell the difference between this and a sable. It's just that good. These are really good brushes. And what's it going for today? What's the price today on this? Oh, seriously? $13? Seriously? Okay, so gotta tell you that a Kolinsky of this size would be probably over $100 easily. Yeah. And I've had a few of those in my career as an artist. I was always afraid to use them. I was always afraid I'd ruin them or something. So there you go. This is the Aqua Elite on the Amazon page. And they come in lots of different sizes. This is a 12. I have a 12 and an 8 and a 10, somewhere around here. Durable, affordable, animal friendly, you guys. It's a synthetic hair, and you would never know it. You would never know it. Pretty amazing brush. I like them a lot, and I also like the Princeton company. I met the owner of the company at a golden conference or whatever. Very nice. Nice people, nice man, good product. What more do you want, right? There you go. Okay. That's all I have to say about that. Let's go back to our iPad for a quick second. Did I forget anything? Oh yeah, you know what? I did forget something. Before I go back to the iPad, let's take a quick look at, where'd they go? I want to give a quick shout out and a quick look at these Artistro paint pens. So if you guys haven't used these, you need to grab a set of these. I'm serious. Because, or even better, give them to the artist in your life. And let me tell you, you will get big old brownie points for that. This set, these are the acrylic paint markers. Let's go to the overhead so you can see them. Look at that. These are wonderful, you guys. And you know why I like them so much? There's a few reasons I like them. Couple of reasons. First of all, they put a lot of care into the design of this box. It looks creative, and I like that. It's works. It's also cleverly designed to be non-frustrating. And that's important. So, here you are trying to do your work, and you've got a box that's got like little dividers or something in it, or little caps you have to put on. I just no, I can't be bothered with that. So this box, take a look at this box. This box here are your pens, your paint pens. It's acrylic paint. It's not watercolor. It's not alcohol markers. It's acrylic paint. And so you get to use it just like acrylic paint. But you get an extra set of nibs. You get some information. That's all wonderful. But the other thing that's great is look at the box. It's a non-fussy box. You just, the pins can go in there and you can be done and just put them back in there and you're done. They don't have fiddly dividers or anything. And then you just slide it back, put it in the bookcase, and you're done. I love that. It's so functional, right? And the product design is so well done. I really, really like that. So then the other thing that's great is let's talk about how the markers work. The markers are great too. So here is my artist tiles. And let's grab one of these. And it tells you right on the barrel, shake, push, paint, prime, excuse me, let me start again. Shake, push, paint, recap. So when you first get it, shake it, then prime it a little bit if you need to prime it a little bit. This one's already primed. Takes a few seconds. And then paint with it. And then you can recap it, right? So they keep flowing. They don't dry out. They work really well. And you have lots of colors. And I think that's great. You can also blend with them. Let's see if that's too dry for me to blend with. See, I can blend a little bit, even though it's on that paper. Sometimes if it gets too dry to blend, that can happen when you're working on paper. But for the most part, these guys work really well. Let me prime this, make sure it's primed. See that? I can blend that. Even though I'm working on paper and paper tends to dry faster than canvas, I can still pull some of that color out. Okay? I love these guys. And you know what's so great about them? They don't drip. There's no dripping. And that's huge. If you've ever had a paint marker go crazy in your purse or your backpack, you'll know what I mean. Okay, we have a few minutes left and I want to just roll back around to the iPad. We're going to finish up with the iPad and let's look at Procreate on the iPad once again before we finish. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything in our carousel. I think we've done everything. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at the iPad once again. Get the baby back over here and we'll go to the iPad screen. We've got our crazy haired lady that we did earlier. I wanted to do a little bit of abstract with you all and show you a fun way to work with abstract shapes in Procreate. You don't need to know how to draw or anything else. I'm just going to go back to Gallery and I'll go back to my abstracts that I've got going here. You can see I do a lot of them. I'm going to start a new one, start the canvas up here, new canvas. And I'm going to go 6,000 by 6,000 pixels, which I believe is 27 inches, 20 by 20 or 27 by 27. It's big, whatever it is. So I'm doing these for print, so I do them big. I do big sizes. So the fun way to work, really fun way to work, is to use the selection tool and fill with color. So the selection tool is that little S that looks like a ribbon up in the top left there. And make sure when you do that that you have color fill turned on and it's freehand. And then we'll just play, basically. So go to your color, check the color that you have, get one you like. And remember the outer ring is the hue and the inner ring is the temp, mute, and shade. So if you pick, say you pick red right there, make sure that you've picked the shade or the tint of red that you want also, because you can see that red right there is actually coming up black because the inside ring is showing black. Okay, so make sure you get the inside ring and the outside ring to match. So I'm going to go over here to kind of an orangey. I've got my S is my selection tool, and I'm going to just play with some shapes here, like so, and tap that little orange dot. Boom. Now I've got a shape filled with color, and tap selection, and it's locked in. Let's do another layer. And I've got to tell you, once you start doing this, it's really addicting. You just don't want to stop. I've done these with 20, 30 layers. They're so much fun. Selection tool, what color are we going to use this time? Let's use turquoise. And selection tool, freehand, and color fill. And I'm just going to, you can see I'm going right off the page. Just come back and tap that little gray dot. And now I've got color fill and selection tool. Let's do another layer. Selection tool, freehand. This time I'm going to just do some circles. Let's just see what this looks like. We'll just do this. And tap. Well, that's not exactly what I wanted, but I'm going to leave it. And I also had the same color on. That's fine. No worries. We'll play with that. But I do kind of like all of these little guys out here. That's kind of fun. So let's take our eraser tool. Let's go into that layer. We'll take our eraser tool, and I'm going to take, how should I erase that? Should we erase it with thylacine? I kind of like the idea of erasing with thylacine. Actually, no, let's erase with syrup. I'll show you why. We're on that layer. Make sure you're on the layer that you want to work on. And I've got eraser and syrup. And I'm just going to drag, I'm going to just actually erase right into that. See that? So that I've got some negative space there. Do I like that? I think I like that. Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's a kind of a cool look. We'll keep that. Yeah, we'll keep that. I think I'm going to erase a little bit more there. Let's just erase a little bit more right there. Yeah, I like that. I like taking them apart so that they're not in, so they're in pieces. So let's just erase these. And let's come over here and erase some more here and here. And let's see, let's erase a little bit of these. Because I just want pieces. Just want it to feel like there's pieces there. I don't want any really big shapes. Okay, a little bit here. And maybe here. This one could use some erasing. There. Oh yeah, I really like that. But now I don't like the color. So I'm going to go to that layer, make sure I'm on that layer, go to the adjustments, I'm going to go to hue, saturation, and I want that really, I want it black. So I'm going to push the brightness all the way down. That looks a lot better, right? Okay, now let's see. Just want to check how we're all doing. Has everybody got... I think we're okay with the chat. If you have questions, I am on multiple platforms. So if you're over there on YouTube and you have a question, I should be able to see you. If you put it in the chat box, I should be able to see you. Let me just double check real quick. Looks like we're okay. How are we on Facebook? Do we have... I think we're all right. I'm going to just reload and see if we've got any questions over here on Facebook. I don't mean to ignore you guys. I just have some stuff here. It's kind of tough to do 3 platforms at the same time. So there we go. Let's just see. I think we're okay. Okay, so we are just working in Procreate and just playing. So there you go. Let's do another layer. But you know, I like this black layer so much, I think I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to go back to my layers. I'm going to go to that layer, slide it, and duplicate it. Now I go to transform, and let's pull it down here. Let's just take part of it maybe. Let's rotate it and maybe just take part of it. This is the really fun thing about layers. You can do some really fun stuff. Let's stretch that out. Good. Okay. I like that. And let's go to that layer and stretch it out. Oh yeah, that looks good. As a matter of fact, let's stretch it. Let's stretch one more time. Duplicate one more time. And now I want to squeeze this one in between the other two. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, that is really fun. Look at that. We're just having a good time. So that is a cool way to use the selection tool to create different types of abstract art. We're going to go and now play with the idea of blend modes. So let's first go to this layer and we're going to look at the blend mode. Now you can see we're on the turquoise layer there. So watch over here what happens when we start to play with the blend mode. It'll change. So let's see, what do we like? It's doing some really different stuff. See how it changes? Sometimes it goes completely away. So I think to really get an idea of what's going on here, I'm going to leave it on normal. I'm going to go to these 3 layers right here and I'm going to merge them. Now I'm going to go back to that layer and do blend modes. And we'll see if it changes things. Oh, that looks pretty good. That's kind of interesting up there with the orange. So you can really play with the blend modes. You can play with the layers. You can play with the adjustments panel. I'll duplicate this layer. And let's, turn our transform tool on and see how when I pull it down below that turquoise layer, see how it has that blend mode turned on, so it's going to affect that. So we like that. And let's do one more. Duplicate, transform, and we'll pull it back up here. It's really getting kind of a tropical cloth feel, right? Now let's get that turquoise layer and duplicate that and see how we have the blend modes do different things. Let's flip that horizontal and see we can do all kinds of cool stuff. So that is just a little way to play with Procreate and use the selection tool and just basically make shapes and play, really. That's what we're doing. I'm going to do one more layer because I can't help myself. I'm going to do one more layer, and this time I'm going to go selection tool, and I'm going to say rectangle and color fill, and this time I'll fill it with almost white. Now I'm going to make a selection. I am on a layer, aren't I? Yeah, okay. Selection tool, like that, color fill. And let's move that this way a little bit. So see how it's playing with those layers and transforming them? So let's take that layer, I'll take it off and put it back on. See there? Really fun stuff. Now let's take this turquoise layer, we're going to move it up above that layer and we're going to change the blend mode so that it will change based on that color. See how it changed a little bit there? Color dodge, lighter color, hard light, pin light. Oh, let's do that. Difference. That works. Lots of fun stuff you can do, and you don't have to be Michelangelo. Just play with shape and moving things around in layers. Have fun with layers, blend modes, all that kind of good stuff. Now, if you look at the scroll that's going below me, if you haven't followed me on Amazon, make sure you hit that follow button. Visit that site that's going below me, and there's information there on how you can enter to win in the contest. I give something away every month, and just get into the contest, and later on this month I'll be giving something away, a surprise. Okay? All right, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. It's a long live stream. We're almost 2 hours into the live stream, so wahoo! Let's wrap it up. I hope you have gotten some good information out of that. And remember, you can always get me all over the internet. You guys know where I am, right? And if you need to find me, I'm pretty easy to find. And as a matter of fact, you know, I see that you guys don't really have my name, do you? So let me put a new layer here in our Procreate. I'm going to fill it with color. Now it looks like I've covered everything, but I actually haven't. I can take that away, but I'll just put this here so you can always find me. All you have to do is put my name in your web browser and I'll come up. You'll be able to find me. If you have questions about art supplies or, you know, Procreate or anything like that, just, you know, shoot me an email or drop me a line on social media and I will do my best to answer you, okay? All right, and just so you know, this layer that I just put down on top of everything, I can just take it away so I didn't lose anything, right? Okay, keep making all that good creative stuff. Get those presents for the artist in your family, or maybe that's you, but get yourself something good and wonderful. Get someone in your family something good and wonderful to make that creativity flourish and make good stuff, because the world needs to see your magic. And it's all good. If you're doing it, it's going to be good, okay? Thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 o'clock. We're doing a long live stream from 3 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you on Wednesday. Check back and make sure you hit that follow button. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.